Welcome back to Wrestledope here on Wrestledope.com. It's myself, Darren, and Stephen here each and every week, giving you the latest in news, reviews, and pretty much everything to do with the world of professional wrestling. No MMA, no UFC, just pure, unadulterated wrestling. That's what we're all about. And each and every week, we're going to pick our superstar of the week, the guy that we feel stood out the most in the past week's programming. And this week, I think it's going to be very controversial who we pick. Stephen.
Yeah, this week's Wrestledope superstar of the week is none other than the man himself, The Miz, the awesome one. And we are glad to present Miz this week with Superstar of the Week on our very first debut show here at WrestleDope.com. Number one show, number one guy, The Miz, Superstar of the Week. A great talent, and definitely in the spotlight from NXT with Daniel Bryan to SmackDown, and the 3 titles, the Unified Tag titles and the US Championship wrapped around him in all his glory. The Miz on a high.
The Miz certainly proving himself more and more each and every week. He's really starting to show how he works. And originally I found that you could hear him calling spots. You could see sloppy ring work. You know, guys would just be chucked on their ass. And, you know, he just wasn't fluid. But I think more and more he looks strong. You know, he looks like he is the part more and more. And that's something I thought never could happen.
Yeah, it's quite funny to think, even on a funny story from outside of the wrestling world, where I had said to my girlfriend, actually, talking wrestling, I was talking about something, and some name came up, and I said which one was it, or which whatever, and or I asked to name what ones she knew. That's what it was, and the only one that came into her head was The Miz, from a full night of pay-per-view action. So The Miz certainly hitting home with the ladies.
It's the recognition factor that counts, and when somebody who doesn't watch wrestling remembers and actually somebody stands out to them, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and The Miz has achieved the big deal. All you have to do is look at all those titles wrapped around him from when he leaves the curtain to the ring. Certainly a funny sight for wrestling fans all over the world.
It's got to be a big issue in the locker room. I mean, you got to think that your Shelton Benjamins and your MVPs and maybe even your Mark Henrys are looking on with jealousy at a guy that they once kicked out of the locker room.
Yeah, and I think maybe they're having the last laugh, and maybe it's all a rib on Miz.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Carrying 3 titles through an airport, I can't imagine is any way fun.
How does he do it?
The Miz, the awesomeness, it's not a factor.
We're certainly being won over by The Miz more and more. His role was made very apparent this past week on NXT when he really stood head and shoulders above the rest. He's a former reality star. He knows how to work that reality gimmick. It is his gimmick, and I think he's perfectly placed on that show. In fact, I would go as far as to say as this show could make him.
Yeah, I think so, and definitely WWE putting the time into Daniel Bryan as one of the breakout stars with Daniel Otunga, and I think The Miz definitely in the right place, the right person for Daniel Bryan. We mentioned earlier about Wade Barrett and the pretty dismal pairing with Wade. Definitely we thought Regal, as we said, would have been the better match. But getting back to The Miz, he's over. He's big time over, and we very, very, very happy to present him with the Superstar of the Week.
And not forgetting, of course, his pairing with The Big Show at the moment, which is also something that going forward looks promising.
Yeah, I quite prefer the Jericho Big Show deal, but yeah, I mean, Miz doesn't need the Big Show. He's got the awesomeness, and Show not really down with the awesomeness, in my opinion.
A lot of Miz fans certainly coming up, a lot of young fans, people who are just starting to tune into wrestling. They're going to see Miz as the number one guy, and going ahead, if we do, and hopefully we will have a younger audience to keep the product going. And going forward, whether people like it or not, it looks like Miz could be well in there. He certainly hasn't gone anywhere after everything that's been said in the past few years.
Yeah, I think a good thing for WWE to do would be put Miz in the Money in the Bank qualifier match and let him take the briefcase at the end of it. It's definitely, looking at the roster, the guy they need to move forward. And you can see that with the talkers like the Pope and Kennedy and people who can cut a promo. Unlike some other talent like Drew McIntyre, where a lot is to be said for his work. But that aside, yeah, the Miz potentially it would be a good thing for Money in the Bank.
As a prediction, Miz in the Money in the Bank match is a very good one. I think it's it's the sort of thing that we would hope to see going forward, and I would like to see him put on a great showing and maybe prove some of the doubters wrong. Anyway, that's just about it here for Wrestledope this week. We're going to just spend a little bit of time telling you about where you can reach us. It's Thewrestledope at youtube.com. That's THE Wrestledope. Thewrestledope at YouTube. We're going to be having a bit of a presence there. We've got the Facebook as well, which we'll speak more about. I can't for the life of me remember what name I'm under, but it's certainly not Wrestledope, because I think that was not allowed by Facebook terms. We're going to have the Ustream account as well. We'd hope at some point to go live, both audio and video, on Ustream and Justin.tv. But of course, if you have made it all the way here to the end of the show tonight, you'll have your own opinions, and we would like to hear from you. You can email us. It's Stephen at Wrestledope.com or Darren at Wrestledope.com, and also admin at Wrestledope.com.
Info at Wrestledope.com for your questions, or if you have any questions for the show you would like answered by either myself or Darren, do address them to info at Wrestledope.com, or individually Darren at Wrestledope.com or Stephen at Wrestledope.com. STEPHEN, no V's there.
Wrestledope.com, that will be the centre for all our output, and as I say, it's going to be audio to begin with. Now, we've had some mic difficulties even just to begin with tonight, and we'll be the first to say it, but we will improve it, and hopefully you will enjoy it. And as regards video and television, hopefully it will all come at some point in the future. Definitely going forward, we're looking to take the show live and just let it all hang out, and whatever happens. Mistakes will happen, but that's the nature of the podcast beast, isn't it?
It certainly is, Darren. It certainly is.
We're going to wrap up here, and thanks very much for listening. We've said